29.2%. That's the score West African governments gave it to themselves. That score measured how ready they were to launch a common currency. The year before, the score was 41.7, so it fell by almost a third in 12 months. Then those same governments stood in public and said it's coming. 2027, it confirmed. Big smiles. Now I sat with that for a long time. Numbers down, confidence up. So I went looking and got stuck on three things. One, why does a currency keep getting announced and never turn up? Two, why do the countries everybody criticizes look more ready than the ones everybody praises? And three, how did three countries working out do more for this than 50 years inside? You see, I came in thinking this story was about money, a game change, old colonial money with fresh paint. I was wrong. The echo was never the real story. Let me show you why this matters. Picture a woman. She buys shea butter in Bobo, sells it back in Kumasi, buys packaging in Lume. Those are three different countries with three different currencies. 3 different times she hands cash to a man at the border who takes a slice of the top. She hasn't grown anything. She paid fees to cross lines drawn by men that were dead more than 100 years ago. One hand cannot tie a bundle. 400 million people, one market. Everybody agrees the idea is good, which makes this next part a little bit harder to explain. They agreed in 1975. ECOWAS was born and one currency goes on the list. Then a target date, missed. Another, missed. Another. Then 2020, that was the one. They picked the name, the ECO. Then the year arrived and the world shut down. 2021, new roadmap, new date. 2027, Dowdwell ran a headline calling it a pipe dream. 50 years of promises, and the promise doesn't fill a pot. So what keeps blocking it? I thought I knew. Most people think they do. Here is the answer you get in any barber shop from Douala to Dakar, France. And it wasn't gossip, it was in the rules. 8 countries shared the CFA franc. Half their foreign reserves had to sit with the French treasury in Paris. And French officials sat on the board of their own central bank. Half your savings kept in someone else's house. And that someone has a chair at the table where you decide the rest. December 2019, Abidjan, President Ouattara stands beside President Macron and announces a reform. And the reform was real. Many people skip this part. The rule about keeping half the reserves in Paris was gone. The French officials on the board withdrawn. France published the explanation itself. So the blockage came off, which left a problem. Why are we still watching the date slide? There is a second half to that announcement that never makes the headlines. 655.957. That's how many CFA francs makes €1. Fixed. And after the reform, it didn't move. Frankfurt sets an interest rate for euro, and because the franc zone is glued to the euro, it has to keep its own rate close to Frankfurt's, otherwise the peg breaks. So the price of borrowing money in Abidjan gets decided by what's happening in Germany. The cocoa harvesting in Côte d'Ivoire doesn't come into it. You see, there is an Igbo proverb for this. A bird that flies off the earth and lands on an anthill is still on the ground. So the reserves came home. The French officials left. The bird flew. It just landed on the same number, still tied to euro. Quick one. The franc zone or Nigeria and Ghana. Which one is closer to 30? You see, most people get that wrong, and that's exactly why it keeps stalling. Because here is what I didn't expect. The system people criticize hardest delivers something rare here. Prices that behave. Your grandmother's savings still means something next year. Put that chart beside Nigeria and Ghana and you see why the franc zone isn't rushing to let go. But there is a bill, a currency tied to the euro runs strong, which obviously makes imported goods cheaper than goods that are manufactured locally. So if importing a t-shirt is better than sewing one, you don't build t-shirt factories. You build shops that sell other people's shirts. Stability here protects the shopper. It can quietly starve the factory. So you either get cheaper prices today or you get a job for your nephew in 10 years. There is no clean answer in that room. So we came in looking for France. The real fight is between West Africans over how you get rich, which is when somebody much bigger works in Nigeria. Now here is the thing about sharing a currency. You share the same central bank too. One interest rate, one decision for all of you. So look at that chart again and put yourself in a small country. That one decision has to fit 15 economies. Whose do you think it ends up fitting? Yours or Nigeria's? Then stand where Nigeria stands. If a neighbor borrows and can't pay back in time, who do you think gets asked to cover it? You see, both of those fears make sense. That's why this is very hard. And this is where it turned for me. West Africa already solved this on paper years ago. To join, a country hits 4 targets. Budget deficit under 3% of the economy. Inflation under 5%. Central bank lending to government under 10% of last year's tax. Reserves covering 3 months of imports. 4 numbers. Spend sensibly. Keep prices calm. Don't print money to pay bills. Keep savings. Your mother's advice. So, how are they doing? In 2023, in the group that includes Ghana and Nigeria, not one country hit all 4. Not one. And the score fell from 41.7 to 29.2. They agreed the rules, they signed them, they published the report, admitting they missed them. And then nothing happens. No fine, no suspension, nothing, nada. A president misses a target, turns up for the next summit, smiles for the photo, signs the next roadmap. Every summit produces political will. 50 years of political will. Nobody built a referee. A rule with no referee is a suggestion. West Africa has run a 50-year experiment in suggestion. Alright, that was the heavy part. It moves because 3 countries got up and walked out. January 2024, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger announced they were leaving ECOWAS. Everybody watched the drama. Watch what they did next. They built a confederation, joint security, talk of their own money. See, one group spent 2 years building institutions. The other spent 50 years announcing roadmaps. And that changed something inside ECOWAS nobody planned for. It turned legitimacy into a race. You see, legitimacy here is comparative. Nobody asks if ECOWAS is doing well. They ask if it beats the alternative. It's the neighbor who ignored the broken fence for 10 years. Then the man next door builds a beautiful one. Now there's a builder at his gate. When the drum beat changes, the dance changes. 2025, the ECOWAS Commission President says it out loud. 2027, July 2026, they say it again. Same date, one new word attached. And that new word is phased. Now, phased means we stop waiting for everyone. Launch whoever qualifies, the rest catch up. Sensible, but the point of one money was erasing lines. And the plan that finally works produces an official list. Who is in? Who is out? Ecofin Agency has reported the first wave that might skip the franc zone entirely. A currency built to answer the CFA franc, launching without the CFA franc countries. So you tell me, is that one money or a third one? Which is why I called it what I hate. None of this is a currency problem. It's about whether African states will hand real power to the shared body, then obey it on the days obey hurts. A free trade area is only a rule book. If members can quietly ignore it, it's a press release with a logo. Same for joint security, same for payments. Now, we keep asking whether Africa has the resources. We have them. Whether Africa has the people. We have them. The scarce thing is institutions our leaders will obey. 15 countries have spent 50 years trying to build one. 54 are watching, which tells you, of course, where the work is. If First Eco launches, somebody builds the plumbing, payment rails, conversion services, trade finance. That happens whether the politics wins or fail. So if you are a founder or an investor, watch the plumbing, not the announcement. Rain doesn't fall on one roof alone. I started looking for the villain. I found 15 countries who agree on the goal, wrote the rules, and built nothing to hold themselves to it. Less dramatic, much more fixable. So 2027 arrives. It launches small and works, and joining becomes irresistible. Or it wobbles, or the idea dies for a decade, or the dead moves again. Now here is your homework. Don't watch the announcements. Announcements are cheap. Watch for the day ECOWAS tells a member state no in public and that member state accepts it. That's the day West Africa gets a real institution. The currency after that is paperwork. So tell me what you think happens. Launch, delay, or split? I honestly don't know this one. Thank you for watching. See you on my next video. Bye.